Oh, well, hello there, YouTube pipe community. Welcome to another Sunday Ramble. Anarcho Pipe Smoker here, and I thought I'd go over a topic of interest to me. Uh, I guess you've all heard the news. I'm not going to talk about this at length because I don't have a whole lot to say, but you probably all heard the unfortunate news that STG, Scandinavian Tobacco Group, Lane Limited, is going to close its longtime factory in Tucker, Georgia. We've been assured by high-ranking people at STG Lane that this is not going to mean the end of any blends or brands, so your favorites ought to still be available. I am a fan of several of theirs. Scudo, of course, is a great vapor from that company. I've been smoking Captain Black lately, which I enjoy. I've also had Crown Achievement, a very good English blend. Wild Hair, sort of a light vanilla aromatic. And they have a whole bunch of famous bulks, including 1Q, most famously, which I don't have a lot of experience with. I think I've only had one bowl of it. Someone must have given me a little sample of it, but I never bought it. But anyway, that's not what I was going to talk about. I wanted to, since I didn't have any no specific news or revelations or discoveries, I thought I would just quickly show you a significant, maybe small, but significant part of my pipe collection. And these are pipes which I inherited from my father. Now, I could have done this last Father's Day, but I didn't do a video on Father's Day. And I could wait till next Father's Day, but actually I don't want to wait that long. So I'm going to do that now. So let me show you a few things. I'm inside today. The weather is not very nice here in Little Rock, Arkansas. So rather than, it's been damp, it's chilly, maybe even a little windy. So rather than do that, I thought I'd stay inside. I don't smoke inside. I'd like to, but I don't for various reasons. So I will have to be smoke-free today. I like to hold a pipe even while it's smoking, so I might put this in my mouth. This, by the way, is not one of my father's, but I wanted to point it out anyway. I think you can probably see the beautiful rustication, except for that one area. And the reason I am very fond of this pipe is that I bought this. This is a basket pipe I bought probably around 1970, a long time ago, in a downtown tobacco shop in Philadelphia. Philadelphia had some very fine tobacconist shops, just like large cities in an earlier time in the U.S. did. And I used to hang out there when I was working while a student, spending my summers working in City Hall for a private title company. I spent my 2-hour lunch hour in a tobacco shop sampling tobacco. In those days, tobacconists could give away samples. I'm also buying some. And I didn't have a lot of money, and so I wasn't spending a lot on pipes. And so I bought basket pipes when something caught my fancy. And I can't remember what I paid, but I'm sure I didn't pay under $20 for this. This is an old rarity. I think it just says hand carved on it. I don't think it says where it was made. But you can look this name up. It's an Algerian briar, which is a respected briar. You can look Old Rarity up. I've done it on YouTube, or sorry, Google, and find other shapes with the same very beautiful carving. I like the rustication. It's a very nice rustication. It's a very good smoker, and I don't know, maybe I spent $17. I just wasn't buying much expensive pipes. I mean, I've never really bought expensive pipes, but especially in those days when I was just a student, I wasn't buying, certainly not putting a lot of money into pipes and not buying a lot of pipes. Anyway, that's an old favorite of mine, so I just wanted to point that out. So what I wanted to do is just show you some of my pipes that I've gotten from my father over the years. My father died in 1985. He was a pipe smoker, also a cigar smoker, and a cigar chewer. For you cigar smokers out there, his favorite was, I don't even know if this is available anymore, Bearing Straits, which was one of those Claro or green, very green wrappers. You don't see those, I don't think, anymore. I don't. Maybe they're not appealing for people that like that sort of chocolate brown or darker, or even Maduro black cigars. They may not go for the very. It was a very green looking cigar. He loved them, and he was a pipe smoker. He smoked many brands over the years. Granger, I remember Briggs. You can still get Granger. I like Granger very much. He liked Captain Black, and one thing I remember, one fond memory I have of him as a pipe smoker was he would smoke in the house. Would be his sitting in his easy chair in front of the TV, watching the news, and he'd have a paper bag. I don't know if it was one of the big shopping bags or just the sandwich bags, and he'd be shaking it, and he was mixing two, maybe even more blends. I don't know what he was mixing. And he would do that, maybe his week's worth or something like that. And then he'd put it in, probably a jar. I have, just turn the camera here a second. I have a pipe stand with the glass jar. Put his week's worth of tobacco in there or in his pouch. And I have memories of him doing that very, very often. So let me show you a few pipes, more than a couple maybe. I'll point out one more that I didn't inherit from him, but rather he gave to me as a young pipe smoker. He introduced me to pipe smoking in the late 60s, actually as a way to keep me away from cigarettes, and I guess it worked. Never was really never a cigarette smoker, could ever inhale a cigarette. Anyway, one pipe that he gave me another one which I lost a long time ago. I don't know how I did it. I just lost track of it. I don't know where it is. But this is a beautiful Danish freehand pipe with the rough plateau top. Very nice grain. Hope you can see it. And I love the Danish stem. And this is a Celius, Celius, and the model is the Knight, like Knight. And it is a great smoker. I've been smoking it obviously a very long time. Very good pipe. Anyway, that was a gift from him. Here are some pipes that were his that I got after his way too early death, and I'm sure he'd be very happy to know that his pipes are still going strong. Among my favorites, I think I've shown this before, but I'll have to show it again, is this. This is also a Danish pipe. That was a favorite of his, and it's made by the company Barry, and freehand, beautiful. I guess that's a sand blast. Very nice, good size, thickness of the wall, and just a gorgeous stem, and it's just a great smoker. It's got a little bit here of unfinished wood right there, just a little band just above or just past the stem, and it's quite a great smoker. I've smoked it many times over the years. One of my favorites. A pipe that's sort of similar is from a company that's made in Italy called Old Vic is the company, and again it reminds me a little bit maybe of a Danish pipe, but like I said, made in Italy. Sandblast or somehow rusticated. Very cool shape, very light, not a big ball, so it's good for a relatively quick smoke, but again, very, very nice. And then some things that I really treasure is his, among them is this custom built, which is an American made pipe, although I hear that they might have made some in Italy at some time. And I guess that's more or less a Lavat shape because of the very long shank and the relatively short stem with a very slight bend in it, which I like. And it's got a nice thick bowl and a good size chamber. If you're interested in custom builds, because you might have been hearing about custom builds, they don't make them anymore. Check out Eric, the Blue Collar Pipe Smokers channel. He's a big fan of custom built, and he's done quite a lot of research, and he's got one video in particular that gives you a history of it, how it went through different owners and how it changed and how the logo changed, and how you can tell, I don't know if you'll be able to see the logo, how you can tell what era it is by the way they did the capital letters in the logo. So check that out. It's a very good smoker. By the way, a good friend of mine did some modification of this for me. The airway I found way too tight. I couldn't get a pipe cleaner in there, and it kept me from really enjoying this pipe. And he opened it up for me, polished it up, even opened the stem, and now wonderful. Now this pipe may look a little kind of similar, and it does, because it looks a little bit like the custom built. It's got a very similar carving. It's kind of almost a square shank. This has flat sides here, but these sides are more rounded, so not quite a square. But notice, of course, how short it is. It's a stubby billiard, maybe. And my quick research on this a few months ago, or last year actually, revealed to me that custom built would, this doesn't say custom built on it, it says his nibs, 2 words, his nibs. And from what I could tell, custom built would take leftover briar that wasn't enough to make a full-size pipe and make these smaller pipes. And so that's what this is. This was also my father's. The interesting thing about it is it's a regular size bowl, even though it's a stubby length. Smokes very nicely, and it good pocket pipe, easy to carry around. Airway's a little bit tighter. Like maybe that's something custom built did. I should see if I can get somebody to open it up. But it's not bad at all. Now a few others. My father accumulated some Kaywoodie pipes. So I have, 3 Kaywoodie pipes. In fact, I got one over here I'm going to have to reach for. Let's start with this one. Kaywoodie used to do something called, I don't know if they still do, a white briar. It's not meerschaum. It's a white briar. I mean, I guess it's painted. And this is a Prince of Wales shape, and this is a very nice smoker. I like the long stem, the bowl. Maybe kind of a pot shape. And I think that's really cool. Here's another one of his Kaywoodies. This is a billiard, I guess, but on the small side. I call it a pocket billiard. Another nice pocket pipe, either breast pocket or easily in if you got a jacket on it, easily in a pocket. Smokes very well. I think it's a good looking pipe. Nice rustication, sandblast, I guess. Nice, I guess that's nickel or something band there, and it's got the club, which is the logo for Kaywoodie. And then the last of the Kaywoodies, I think, is a pretty cool pipe too. This is it's called a flame grain. That's what it's called. And I think maybe that's because of the stem. Look at that gorgeous stem. Amber, sort of cloudy amber. Very cool. And look at, I think it has a beautiful grain. It's a very nice color. The brown is very nice. It's a pot shape, which means it's not very tall. It's about as tall as it is, I think, as the outer diameter is. I think that's what may distinguish it from a billiard. I used to think pot-shaped pipes were old man pipes. I didn't really like them even when I had these. I didn't smoke them much. And now I really like the shape. I'll leave it to you to figure out why my view changed. But I like old man shapes now. Maybe that's because I'm not a youngster. I got a few other pot shapes of my father's from my father's collection. This is a BBB, which is Britain's Best Briar. I don't think that was the original name. The original name was Bloomfield's Best Briar, or something like that. And that's a nice pot. That's a big ball. You can get my thumb in there. but again, not very tall. I guess that's nickel. It's a little bit tarnished. I'll have to try to shine that up. But that, I think that's a beautiful pipe, and it smokes very well. Two more in the pot collection. GBD. So we had one or two GBDs, and this one is, I think, a good kind of classic pot. Again, you can see not too tall a ball. I think a billiard probably would be a bit taller. Good size. Get my ring finger pretty deep in there. And then the last of the pots is a Camoys. Beautiful rustication. I don't know, sandblast or something. Good classic shape, tapered stem. Good size bowl again. Bowls are thick enough to keep it from getting terribly hot. Anyway, that's a great pipe. This I've had a long time. I don't know if he gave me this before he passed away or not, but I've had this longer than all the others. And then, and this is going to please another one of my YouTube friends. I already mentioned Eric. This is going to please Ben, the artful codger, because he's a collector of these pipes and is a big fan. This is a Kiko, and it's a Prince of Wales shape, although I don't think they called it Prince of Wales. And this is made in Tanganyika, which is an African, actually a country that doesn't exist anymore. I think it's part of Tanzania now. But the interesting thing about this, you may know or not know, you can find these if you look around, is this is a meerschaum bowl lining. It's a meerschaum liner to a briar stummel, briar bowl and shank, clad in pigskin. So you got meerschaum in briar in pigskin, and it's really cool. Good draw. I wish the bowl were a little bigger. It's a relatively on the short side smoke, not super short, but it's a little bit short. And I just like how it looks. It's held up all these years. He's had it for a very long time. The stitching is in great shape, as you can see. It's got a little bit scorch mark here and there. I don't know actually where that came from. Very nice stem with an elephant on it. If you look it up, you can tell what that elephant means as a whole. I think Pipedia has a whole chapter. And it also has the model number 79A, which is explained online. And this is made in Tanganyika. It's a beautiful pipe. So I'll show you one more pipe, but you're going to have to hold on for 1 second. Okay, we're back. Actually, two more pipes. I realized there were two that I didn't have ready to show, so we'll show them now. This is a Cheriton made in England with a, I don't know what material this is exactly. Doesn't say on there, but it does say made by hand. And it's a gorgeous bent, I don't know, apple. Smokes beautifully, nice size. If you like big bowls, although I'm sort of partial to smaller ones, but I can get almost up to the middle knuckle there. Very good pipe. And then the most maybe striking of all is my father's Ben Wade. This is a magnificent pipe. Made in Denmark. Beautiful shape. Look at that work on the stem. And the part of the shank is the I guess vulcanized rubber, and then you got the briar shank, and then a beautiful bowl, and I hope you can appreciate the straight grain on this all the way around. Gorgeous straight grain, and the grain is very strong even on the shank. That is quite a pipe. Maybe not the best walking around pipe, although it's a good walking around pipe because it's so striking. Smokes great. It's got the plateau. and pretty thick walls, except for this side. It's asymmetrical. So as you can see, so this side's thinner, but it doesn't get too hot, and it's just fine. He's had these, these pipes. He bought these in the 50s and 60s, these pipes, so these pipes have been around a long time. We're going to wrap it up there. I hope you have a pleasant Sunday and week, and I'll see you next week. And keep in mind to each his own, live and let live, and replace your divots, and visit my blog at hobbynothabit.blog. See you next week.